Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Happier Life podcast. I'm your host, Clare Deacon. After deciding survival wasn't enough, I set out on a path to live my best life. I wanted to thrive. Now I'm on a mission to support others. Think you're not good enough, confident enough, brave enough? I'm here to tell you you are, and you can achieve anything. This is your time, so let's do this. And welcome to the Happier Life podcast, where we talk about life beyond survival, because let's be real, you are not here just to get through life. I'm Claire, your host, positive psychology coach and expert, and your go-to guide for navigating self-doubt, self-worth, and all the messy, beautiful parts of healing. So, let's talk about something that so many of us struggle with, but we don't always say it out loud, and that's nagging, relentless, exhausting feeling that we are just not enough. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you do, no matter how many people reassure you, no matter how much therapy, journaling, or mindset work you try, that feeling just won't shift? Maybe you've thrown everything at it. Affirmations, the vision boards, you've done the gratitude lists, the deep dives into childhood wounds, manifesting under the full moon, and yet there it is. That little voice. The one that whispers, sometimes subtly, sometimes like a foghorn, you're not good enough. Maybe it sneaks in when you're about to go for something new. Maybe it stops you before you even get started. Maybe it's been there for so long you don't even question it anymore. It just feels like it is the truth. And here's the part I really want you to hear. It's not because you haven't tried hard enough. It's not because you're broken, nor is it because you're incapable or missing some secret piece of the puzzle. It's because so many of the approaches we're given to fix self-worth are surface level. They're band-aids on something that's much deeper. Because here's the thing, self-help isn't enough if the deep wound hasn't been healed. Journaling is great. If you don't feel safe in your own mind, writing down I am enough 100 times won't suddenly make you believe it. Therapy can be life-changing, but not if you've been stuck in the cycle of endlessly understanding your trauma without knowing how to actually move forward. Now, for my clients, they will hear me talk about this as being the trauma swamp. So if you're continuously swimming in a swamp of trauma, trying to understand it without knowing how to actually move forward, then the result is that you will drown and get overwhelmed by that swamp. So mindset work is powerful, but if your nervous system still believes self-worth is dangerous, no amount of positive thinking will rewire that. And this is where I do things differently, because self-worth isn't just about thoughts, it's about your body and your nervous system, your lived experiences and the survival patterns your brain has created to keep you safe. And real healing, it doesn't come from forcing yourself to believe something you don't feel. It comes from learning how to feel safe enough to believe it in the first place. When that voice has been around for so long, it doesn't just feel like a passing thought. It can feel like a deep, heavy weight that sits in your chest. It embeds itself into the way you move through the world and how you show up. It becomes the hesitation before speaking up, the discomfort when someone compliments you, the quiet pull to overwork, over apologize, over explain. It's all there. Like, no matter how much you do, no matter what you achieve, there's still that underlying sense that somehow you are falling short because deep down, you're still trying to earn the worth that was never meant to be conditional in the first place. But let's call it what it is. Ultimately, that is all the story that was never actually yours to begin with. So today, we're going to talk about what it feels like to carry that story, where it comes from, and really, most importantly, how we can begin to change it. Because the feeling of not being enough is not some personal failing, it's something we learn, it's something we're taught. And just like anything we've been taught, we can unlearn it too. So, in this episode, we're going to take the time to sit with this feeling. We're not going to rush past it. We won't try and fix it in 5 minutes. We're going to explore why we carry this belief and how it gets wired into our brains. And most importantly, what we can do to start shifting it. Because I want this to be more than just another here's how to fix yourself moment. You don't need fixing. You just need to hear a different story, one that reminds you of who you've always been. And if you find yourself thinking, I need more help with this, then I've got you. Book a free coffee and chat with me, and we can see and delve deeper into how we can give you that support that you need. All right, okay, deep breath. Let's dive in. So, where does that I'm not good enough come from? First things first, we are not born feeling this way. Babies don't arrive into this world going, I wonder if I'm worthy of love today. No, they cry when they need something, they expect love and care, and they take up space without apology. So, what happened? If we weren't born doubting ourselves, where did it come from? Why do so many of us walk around feeling like we're constantly falling short, no matter how much we do, how much we achieve, or we prove? The truth is, the feeling of not being enough is something we learn. And if we can unlearn it, then we can unlearn it. So, for a lot of people, this starts in childhood. Maybe you were the kid who always were compared to a sibling. Maybe love and approval felt like something you had to earn by being quiet or working hard or by making sure that everybody else is happy first. Maybe every time you made a mistake, you were met with shame instead of support. Or maybe your voice was just dismissed, that your needs weren't considered, and that you learned that who you are wasn't enough to be fully accepted. When we experience emotional neglect or criticism or rejection or trauma, our brains try to make sense of it. But instead of blaming the situation, we tend to turn that blame inwards. And the brain doesn't think, wow, this situation is really unhealthy. Instead, it goes, I must not be lovable. Otherwise, they wouldn't have left. I must be too much or not enough. Otherwise, they wouldn't treat me that way. If I was just able to work harder, if I could please them more, achieve more, then maybe I'll be worthy. The thing is, these beliefs don't stay in our heads. They shape how we show up in our relationships and at work, in our self-care, and even in the way we talk to ourselves. So I just want to pause here because if any of this resonates, I want you to take a deep breath. You're not broken for feeling this way. You are not at fault for carrying this belief. The truth is, when we're children, we don't question the messages that we receive, we absorb them. And when we experience pain, rejection, or moments where we feel unseen, our brain tries to make sense of it. And so often the easiest explanation is maybe it's me. And then me throws in more layers. Maybe you experienced toxic relationships that made you question your self-worth. Maybe you took a risk and it didn't work out. And instead of seeing it as a learning experience, your brain stores it as proof that you should never try that again. Maybe you scroll through social media, seeing everyone else's perfect highlight reels, and your brain decides that clearly you must be behind, you're failing, or you're just less than. It's really sneaky the way it just builds up belief on belief on belief. One moment, one comment, one experience, each at a time, adding on until one day it's just all the background noise of your life. So let's just take a moment to talk brain science because this is where things get really interesting. Your brain is designed for pattern recognition. Once you start believing something about yourself, your brain looks for proof to support it and it ignores anything that contradicts it. So if you've spent years believing you're not enough, guess what? Your brain is wired to filter out the good and highlight the bad. And let's be real, the world really doesn't help. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us we need to be better, we need to be thinner, younger, more successful, more productive, more. It's just all more. But here's the thing, that voice in your head, it's not a fact. It's not who you are, it's conditioning, it's repetition, it's a thinking habit. And the good news is what's been wired in can also be rewired out. So, how do we do that? How do you rewrite your story? So, the story of I'm not good enough. This is where the real work begins. If you've spent years believing you're not good enough, you can't just flip a switch and suddenly feel great about yourself. If only things were that easy. But the good news is you can start to rewire your brain, just one small shift at a time. Shifting your self-worth isn't about forcing confidence or standing in the mirror yelling, I am enough, until you believe it. It's about understanding where the beliefs come from, questioning them, and consciously choosing a different way forward and doing that in a way that feels safe. And that takes practice. And before we get into the how, I want to acknowledge something. This work does take time. You're not broken. There is no time limit, no specific time that it's going to take you. We're all individual, we're all unique, and we all have our own level of influence over our lives and the number of layers and how they were put in. You don't need to fix yourself, but you do need to gently and compassionately peel back the layers and ask, What if I could see myself differently? So let's start here, because here's the thing. You're not going to find any band-aids here. I don't give quick fixes. No, just think positive slogans. No pretending that years of self-doubt can be erased with a single affirmation. We're not here to plaster over the cracks. We're here to go deeper, to understand where these beliefs come from, to challenge them, and to rewrite them in a way that actually sticks and works for you. So, step one, identify and challenge the origin of the belief before you can rewrite the story. So, to do this, we need to understand how it was written in the first place, because these beliefs, they didn't come from nowhere. So, take a moment and ask yourself these questions. When did I first start feeling like I wasn't enough? How old were you? What do you remember around that time? Who was around you? Was it something someone said, a way you were treated, a belief that you absorbed growing up? So, what were the moments in your life that reinforced that belief? Maybe the childhood experience, a teacher who dismissed you, a parent who only praised success but not effort. Maybe it was a friend who made you feel like you had to prove your worth. Maybe it was a relationship that chipped away at your self esteem, where love felt conditional or like something you had to earn. Now, I want you to challenge it. Whose voice is this? Is it really yours? Or was it handed to you by someone else who didn't know how to really love and nurture or support you in a way that you deserve? Would you say this to a child? If a 5-year-old version of you came up and said, I feel like I'm not enough, would you tell them, you're right, try harder? Of course you wouldn't. So, why do we say that to ourselves? What if this belief isn't actually true? What if it's just something you were taught, but not something to have for you to keep carrying? Because here's the thing, you were not born believing this. It's not who you are, it's just something you were taught. And if you were taught it, you can unlearn it. So, step two, catch that voice and call it out. The next time that not enough feeling creeps in, pause, notice it, name it, and literally say to yourself, there's that story again. Because when we name something, we create just a little bit of distance from it. And in that space, we get to choose then how we respond to it. You are not your thoughts, you are the observer of your thoughts. And the more you can separate yourself from that not enough voice, the more power you have to change it. So, step three, reframe the story and rewrite the narrative. If challenging the thought is about dismantling the old story, reframing it is about writing a new one, but one that actually feels true. This is where lots of people can get stuck because they try to replace with I'm not good enough with I'm perfect just as I am. And their brain immediately rejects it because it's too much. Instead of forcing yourself into the extreme opposite belief, try something that's based on real evidence. So ask yourself, has there ever been a time when I was enough? Can I think of even one moment where I showed up fully as myself and it was okay? What strengths do I have that prove this belief is wrong? Instead of repeating affirmations that feel fake, find a truth based reframe actually feels real to you. Reframing I'm not enough to perhaps I've had moments where I felt like I was enough, I can have more of those, or I have to prove, rather than having to prove my value to others, to say, I have people in my life who already value me, even when I'm not doing anything. Perhaps the old story of my past defines me can be reframed as my past shaped me, but it doesn't own me. Your brain isn't looking for perfection, it's just looking for that proof. So give it something real that it can hold on to. So, step 4. This is about acting like you're enough, even when you don't believe it yet. Now, here's the real secret to self-worth. Self-worth isn't a feeling, it's a practice, and it's like a muscle. You don't sit around thinking about getting stronger. You go to the gym, you train, and over time you build that strength. The same goes for your worthiness. If you want to believe you are enough, you have to act like it, even on the days when you don't fully feel it yet. And that means setting boundaries because you need to ensure that your needs are met, speaking kindly to yourself because your words shape your beliefs, and allowing yourself to rest without guilt because you don't have to earn the right to slow down. Saying no when something doesn't feel right because people pleasing won't make you feel more worthy. The more you practice these efforts of worthiness, the more your brain starts to believe it's true. And one day you'll wake up and realize the not enough voice isn't as loud as it used to be. Okay. So, as we come to the end of this episode, I want you to know you have always been enough. You never needed to prove it. You just are from the moment you arrived into this world. So remember, you don't have to spend the rest of your life stuck in this pattern. You don't have to feel enough every moment of every day either to be enough, because your worth has never been up for debate. And yes, this does take work to get to. It takes catching the old beliefs and questioning them. It takes practicing the self-compassion. It takes allowing yourself to rewrite the script, even when part of you wants to cling to the old one, just because that's what feels familiar and therefore comfortable. So I want you to try something this week, just one thing. When that thought of I'm not good enough pops up, take a breath and remind yourself it's just a story. And you get to choose what happens next. And if you want support in shifting this, let's talk. Book a chat with me or send me an email and we can look at what really is your needs. So hopefully this has been helpful. You can understand and resonate with what I've spoken, and it's made a connection for you so that you're able to take that step to find your happier. So until next time, be kind to yourself. You are learning, you are growing, and you are already enough. If you've enjoyed this episode, ensure you hit subscribe, head on over to my website, happyacoach.com, sign up for the weekly newsletter, and let me support you in living a happier life. I'm your host, Clare Deacon. Thank you for listening. Have a fabulous day.